Well, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the first Tuesday of October. It's crazy to think that we have just started October. It's mind blowing, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. So this month I'm going to do the devotions myself as we continue to talk about faith. I'm calling it Faith Factor Devotionals. And if you have your Bibles, I'm going to read a little bit to you out of Hebrews chapter 11, which is kind of a focus of faith. And it's a whole chapter all about faith. It's crazy. It's the same stuff we've been talking about on Sunday mornings. So starting off with Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, it says, "Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see." Now, that was our memory verse at the very beginning, if you guys can remember that far back. About 4 weeks ago. Yeah, 4 weeks ago we started talking about faith, and we talked about what faith is, and we talked about how it was trusting God. And if you read Hebrews 11 all the way, it talks about all these people who lived by faith. So it talks about in verse number 3, it talks about the faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. So when God said it, things happened. When we talk about creation, like we've talked about before. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it says in Hebrews 11:7. It says, "By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of a righteousness that comes by faith." So if you were with the pioneers all at any point in September, you heard me talking about Noah and how Noah definitely had the faith factor and how he obeyed God. When God said build an ark, he did it. Even when it seemed crazy to Noah because there was no water, there was no rain where he had lived. He was living in a desert where it's super hot and there was no rain whatsoever. But because he had that much faith, he had the faith factor in God, he trusted and obeyed, like we talked about in the pioneers, and he built the ark and he saved his whole family and all the animals, right? Even the mosquitoes. I don't know why mosquitoes made it. I really wish God had just wiped mosquitoes out, but I guess not. So, and then as you keep on reading in verse Hebrews 11:8 all the way down to, let's see, yeah, all the way down to 11:19, it talks about Abraham, another guy who we talked about in the pioneers, about how he always said yes to whatever God wanted. And yeah, it talks about him and how he had the faith factor and how he was willing to obey. Even in verse 17, for example, it says, "By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice." And we talked about that in the pioneers, how Abraham is willing to obey even when it seemed crazy. So we're gonna, as the month goes on and maybe even into November, I'm gonna be breaking down Hebrews 11 for you. It's called the Hall of Faith. It's really good stuff, and it gives us examples. So just wanted to introduce it to you, and I'll keep on breaking it down for you next week, and then the following, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. But yeah, as you can see, not only did Noah and Abraham obeyed, but they were awesome examples of faith. And that, as we've been learning about in kids' church on Sunday mornings, is important. It's important to live through faith and trust in God no matter what. So that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. I will see you next week. Definitely read through Hebrews 11. That's your homework. I know you're back in school, weekend's over, but that's your homework. And then I will pick it up in 11.20 next week. So, love you guys. God bless you. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, we have the Pioneers coming up tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Pastor Jared has some exciting lessons for you. We have some songs for you and some crafts. It's going to be a lot of fun, so don't miss out. I will see you guys tomorrow.